I encourage you to watch the entire Sun Temple series from beginning to end. There's good stuff here. Never forget, Psyche means the soul, the female soul in Greek. Breath, mind. And we see that eidos is form, idion to see, witten to know. This is where we get wise and wisdom, right? Wise, ways, was a. Okay, and we see the connection between the physique, the psyche, right? Mind, body, and soul, psychology, psyche plus logos, etc. And how drugs cause shortness of breath, right? And to be responsible, response-able, a subtle allusion to martial arts. So now let us talk about Anhor, honoris. Okay, honor us, honor is, honor ease, etc. The lion-headed deity, 2 or 4 feathers is his headdress. His cult center was said to be in Tinis, in Upper Egypt. This is a significant location, as the book I read, it said that in Egyptian mythology, Paul Veronica Ions, that Narmer established one of his centers at Tinis when he united the land. So his cult center is at Tinis in Upper Egypt. There's a lance in his hand, he never misses. Remember, Minerva has a lance and so on, and spear, rather. He's said to have never misses, he never misses. Patron of the Egyptian army and royal warriors. He's compared to Ares, and his wife is said to be Menhet or Mehet. There's this one Greek tale that the Greek Olympian deities, and gods rather, hid in Egypt, and Ares hid in Anhor. This is important because this connects to the Narmer palette and Shu. This also connects to, Anhor is associated with Shu and the Narmer palette. Okay, and also Amen, when he usurps the different deities, he usurps Shu's functions. One of the main things he does, that is the atmosphere. So these are the kind of Asian sandal bearers. Sandal bearer was a pretty honorable role. There's really no equivalent in other cultures. You might say the squire to the king when he goes out to battle. But, there are some religious duties assigned to it, but by no means was he above, Narmer. Okay, so you see that these people, eventually, the more loyal ones are screened out, and martial arts are taken over almost certainly by the indigenous peoples that they taught, over time. Okay, and some of these people, took wives to try to legitimize themselves. They almost certainly took wives of some of these people's family members. Okay. Anything about tunnel, right? Tune L, dancing to the devil's tune. Again, these people were in the tunnels, right? Why do some people wear glasses? Before I was drugged, and part of my brain was messed up and so on. It has to do with light sensitivity and breeding in that direction. So imagine you're reading symbols in tunnels with flames, right? And then you go out into the sun. It's kind of like the mole effect, or some kind of animal that, whatever that animal is, that comes out in the light and he's blind, right? He kind of sticks his head up, looks around, sniffs around, right? Because he's evolved in the tunnels. So, pretty much a lot of other races evolved in the tunnels, and we see the tunneling in Vietnam War and in other wars, right? Trenches, tunnels, and so on. All right, so I went over the fear and racism, sexual immorality, etc. versus the natural
Pay
selection.
very close attention.
The people.
What is the difference between
my dad
the
took a
short
white wife,
Twa
believed in
people,
the natural direction, believed
who
in
were
the
the
spirit,
servants
right?
of
The
the
evil
Kwa
leader emerges.
people.
He's not born.
The
He's
hawk
not in
backwards,
one
the
flesh
age
or
of
another.
defense.
He's in the divine
The T
order.
is the
And so
feminine
and
suffix.
he rises up from the divine order. And over
So
time,
you then look
they
at it,
started
it becomes
mixing
a
in
way.
more worldly
What way?
philosophies, and Chinike started
They lost their
replacing
way.
Chuku, the gender neutral.
Without
deity,
Pharaoh,
replacing the pure
man
masculine
has
deity.
no way to
So a lot of these
heaven.
people who are named
Only
Chuku to
to
this
hell.
day don't actually
Shu
think of
and
God as
Anhor
Chuku.
were connected.
You know, that's just their name as part
And I
of
will
the tradition.
definitively
This is
prove
part of where the confusion
this
comes in.
with
Just
my
like the
picks
Bible.
from one
The
man.
Bible wasn't the original
Maybe
source
three
of this information and this quote-unquote knowledge.
Look at
it
the
is a
pic
twist
on the
of
Narmer
the
palette.
Haru temple by
Look at
a
the black
variety,
belts.
by
These guys
a
are
group
defining
of temples.
the system
Set
after
and Apep and so on.
Haru has defined it.
Kanhor, Amen eventually in the New Testament.
They are
Serapis,
defining the
Apis,
system
Osiris and so on.
after
and Isis, you know.
Haru
And these deities
has
were
defined
popular in the Roman Empire during the time.
after.
So at the end of the day,
These are the
you must make the
despicable,
distinction between beating
mini-me
somebody up,
cowards
being a big brute,
that do
and
not
doing
know
martial
God
arts.
and do not
And you
stand
see how this
with
plays out
him
in war.
still.
So they had to wait till the technology to
How can
re-enter
somebody who
Africa.
doesn't have the
They had
heart to stand
wait till
with
they had
Pharaoh
armor.
show you anything
You know,
but
and over time they
cowardice?
had guns, and then they were able to
The
colonize
Twa
and
is the
circumvent
way
continent
to
and,
cowardice.
you know, colonize and settle in.
Too
settle in.
small to man up, insisting
So,
that the little
This is
man
because martial
be
arts
the
comes
new
from Africa,
man.
and that's where the effective
To
form
the
is.
point
other
where
guys
they
are focused
support
on
pederasty
presentation,
to make it
presence.
so.
You know, the
Pedophile
gifts, from
disgrace.
blood money. It's kind of like giving your wife a diamond, and you
But they
work
have killed
for,
many,
you know,
many people
an unscrupulous
to cover
company.
up.
You know, they're
More disgrace.
presenting these things to the next generations of martial
Shu and
artists.
Anhur were
with
connected,
No regard to
and Anhur
the source
must
of martial arts.
have took
That's why one of my
Mihit
first complaints when I started making
or
videos
Menhit
about martial arts
as
was
a wife
when you pay homage to
grow
your
a
ancestors,
taller
you're
child.
paying homage to mine.
Kind of like
and
the
then you
Tower
turn
of
around
Babel
and stop
story.
at nothing to
But we'll
snake
get
me
into
and
that.
put yourself above me.
It seems some of the
See how
people
that is
else are
dishonorable?
based
When you think
on
about their systems, they are all
led
focused on image,
or told
and they are
Narmer-
extremely dishonorable. Why wouldn't they stand with me? Right? When you
me.
think about it, the guys who would have honor
Led Narmer
from
to
either
believe
fear, racism,
or told
a
Narmer-
false sense of loyalty, you know,
You later
they
take me out of context.
serve
They
their
they're a bunch
masters.
of bitches.
And this goes back
You
to
don't
the
remember
white man as the
anything else.
master
Remember,
race, right?
the midgets
He's
didn't tell
trying
anyone
to
shit.
force
No
his
one told
martial arts
anyone
on me.
anything through God
At every
but
chance he
Pharaoh,
get, you know,
who was a
every
black
chance he got
African
over the
Sun
course of my
Temple
videos.
Pharaoh.
When I went back
Period.
to training
That's
martial
my
arts,
number one
especially
key point of all videos.
You know,
period.
so he could say that he's
I'm
the
sick
master.
of this bitch shit. I'm
There
sick
is
of
no
them
master.
trying to twist things around.
God
I'm sick of
is
them
the
doing
one who
little
taught
bitch
me
shit, trying to
flow
make it
through
seem
me.
like
It's a natural
I'm
harmony
wrong or
that
I'm
is
actually saying they're
specific to my
fuck
body.
therapy.
It cannot be taught by
The church
science
is
and
wrong,
another
New Age
person.
wrong,
It had to
everyone
flow
is
through
wrong
me in
when
harmony
it comes
with
to
God,
telling the
and this
story,
is also
but me.
how
And
the
it's not
leader
because they're
emerges.
completely stupid.
God
They're
chooses
just
him
insane
through,
and fucking stupid.
him
It's because
conveying
they're
the spirit of
cowards.
God through light contact.
They have no
conveying,
heart.
channeling, transferable,
None.
translatable.
And these are the
communicable,
types of bitches who say,
convertible,
look,
and
I took my
universal
scan the other
skills.
day,
One
and it
verse
turns out I do have a
through
heart.
this
They
God.
took my pulse and
Okay, so we see
pretend
the
that
left is acting
I'm
like,
wrong
you know,
because of
lukewarm
that.
bitches. The right
These
and
are
wrong
those
way
kinds
acting
of
like bitches,
sissy
like,
fairies
no servant can be greater.
that would pretend that I'm
Okay,
wrong
they're playing
because of
stupid.
that.
They're not manning up until
He must be referring to
That's
this
a form of manning up.
flesh
You know, in our society, one
and
of the highest
not
forms of manning
this
up is insisting
idea
on the
that
pure
comes
truth.
from God.
You know, because
This
you
is the
know
kind
there's
of
going to be
disgraceful
consequences. It goes back to
methodologies
debate
that are
and
being
masturbate,
used
debate.
to define
Right, part
religion
of debate where
and to
we're
make
talking about
politics and
morality
social life and
is
the
baiting
stupid coward
people with a
horse.
higher
So
sense
help
of
me
morality
God,
to come
I
around
detest
and to correct
females
you.
for this. I detest them.
You
I
know,
can't
and
stand them.
Ironically, you know,
The type of bitch
unfortunately,
shit
this is what they're supposed
that
to do.
they breed towards.
They're not supposed to kick back and do nothing and then slowly
No
be assimilated
judgment at all,
into the
none.
and help evil men build empires. We all
Moving
know
on.
deep down in
So
our
it
souls
seems
that's
some of
wrong.
these
Even the most
people
wicked people building the
the elves
empire
are based
knows
on
deep down in their soul it's wrong.
led
That's why they use
Narmer
psychology
to
and have
believe
Luciferian sex and feed
or
on the
told
energy
him
of what they're doing
and later
being wrong.
betrayed him
This kind of mischievous
that these other
cackling
elves
Jeb
were
the
doing wrong.
cackler, you know, that violated
Obviously,
his mother
they were doing wrong.
and chased
Because
Shu
they're
away.
still not
Right? It
doing
was
right.
sexual immorality.
You know them
caused
by
Shu
their
to
works.
change form,
No one else is
morphology,
even is
the
even
lexicon.
the beginnings to be qualified to be
And
Pharaoh
then we
but
get
me.
these
Because
sexually
everyone's
immoral
doing
people
wrong.
who are having sex
Pharaoh's
every day.
son, the
whether it's
natural leader, is
forcible
not
rape,
going to come into
drugs,
this
or
world
taking advantage
with some
of
state of
psychological
conformity to
construct and
bitch shit.
fear.
It's a fairy
Right?
bitch
Think
shit.
about a rich
It's
person
not
saying,
gonna
"I'll
happen.
send you back to the gutter
I
where
have seen
found
many
you
examples
if
of these
you don't
people all over.
do what I say."
And because
You know,
black genes are so
you-
dominant, I see their
I
traits
should
slash
take you
features
back
expressed
and
in Asians,
to
whites,
the
and Jews
sewer
most.
where I found you.
I've seen it in Hispanics.
Right, and we see this
I've seen it in
with
black
the immigration,
people too, and
right?
people
How
in
are
my
people
family. I have
treated?
some of these
Who do these
features
attractive
myself,
women go for
and they're
when they get
expressed
here?
more as I
Right?
lost
They go
weight
for
and
fucking
muscle.
scumbags
I look
with
more
money
like an elf
and nice things.
when I lost that 30
you know,
pounds
and
of muscle.
financial stability, right? That's related to fear.
Because
You know, when
raw
you see me being
African, in
sabotaged,
the
my family
absence
being
of
sabotaged,
forging your body
you know,
for
Kaiser
God,
ripping
we
my
look
dad off
more
for like
like
$2
some
million
kind of
and all this
basic
stuff. He kept me
monkey
from
elf,
getting on my feet,
you know.
from having the
Anyway,
types of things that attractive women would want.
So Holy Spirit.
Okay,
Right, when we look
It
at
was fear
one of the Old Kingdom
that kept
competition.
them for doing the right
the
thing.
guy
And it
with
was
the
sexual
longer
immorality.
staff trying to make
Right,
up
what
for his
happened to
distance
them
was trying to
if
find
they don't
the
play their
spirit
part in the New World Order
to
and
spear
their lust they can't overcome.
the king who was
So when
fighting
I
more
talked
like
about the Masons, I
Narmer
was
with
like,
a club.
you know, their lust,
which
their greed, they
in
couldn't
its
fight
finest
it.
is a knife.
And even in
The club
Morals and Dogma,
refined is a knife.
it spells out
You're
flat
better off
out
striking like
that
a leopard.
the
right
greatest
claw,
triumph in
seed,
life
law,
is the triumph over your
hawk,
carnal
quack,
and sensual
leopard,
desires.
leopard,
Your desire to cheat me
Leo
out of
pair,
my rightful place.
the O pair,
You know, to
the A
triumph
pair,
over that is the
loving
greatest
the
triumph in
French.
life. Not the
So we
knaveries
go
of the
to
stock
the,
room, as they said,
laws, right?
the
Sea
gold room and the
laws,
stock board or
play on
something
words.
like that. Right? Basically the banking
Mediterranean,
system, the
right?
financial
Meditate, raw,
system,
no on.
not
With
gaming the
meditation,
system.
good shit, it makes you look
That
like
is
bitch.
a lesser
Throw it out
victory
the
for
fucking window.
men of little faith and no heart.
or
Having the heart to insist
add
on your
I,
place in the divine
or
order
slash
is the only
your
true
A,
victory,
no on.
according to their own morals
Obviously,
and
you
dogma.
have to breathe toward the
And
direction.
ironically,
of the A,
I'm
but not this whole
part
E,
Scottish.
right? Whole E, right?
Okay.
Whole A, spirit.
Isn't that ironic?
Whole
right?
A,
So
Claude.
when we see this thing,
Whole A.
you know, what we see is basically somebody who's
strike
part
it.
Scottish telling
Okay,
the biggest
pierce
faction
it.
of Masonry,
So
the most
on.
effective faction of Masonry in
This
America,
is
the
when you
Scottish
look at
Rite.
this thing.
Yes,
It is,
you're
it
not
is
doing the right
highly
thing.
disgraceful. They've
You're not
applied
trying.
Saturn,
You're not
right? The
truly
eighth of
attaining
Saturn,
victory for the
great
white
seal,
race.
right? The seven
You are
seals,
basically
great
the
seal
servants,
on the dollar
European.
bill.
You're
You know,
a
render unto Caesar
peon,
that which is his.
insisting on
This
being the
idea of
masters.
role reversal.
And then there's the
money
Asians.
to
You're
rule
the
all
sandal
evil, it's all
bearer,
connected.
dishonoring
Yes, acting
the
like a
true
good little
honor
bitch.
in the martial arts
Fucking-
system and seeking to
I can't bear
redefine
myself.
honor.
I can't bear
in
myself.
terms of
Feel
redefining the
spear and
intelligence,
the harpoon.
which is what your
Oh,
heart
the sick
desires
girl.
as a
Harpoon,
lesser form
right?
of life,
Whore, pan.
and not through the true spirit of God having the heart to
the
insist on the
javelin.
truth, the pure sun light
Reveal
temple.
on.
It's also why women
Revel
fail.
in.
You know, and women fail the most
Basically
as a
tease 'em,
group when attractive women
persecute 'em,
breed
harass
towards
'em.
evil.
This
This
the
is
kind of-
what these people want. They want
This is
attractive
kind of
women.
philosophy
They want you to
West is
train
made of, that
your
built the
children to
West
be like them. That's why they
before
rape your
Christianity.
children.
I don't
Like,
want a
look,
bunch of sick
be gender neutral,
Douglas cults
pederasty friendly scum.
to sit there.
Train your children
this
to
isn't
think like us.
part
so
of their
they can be
agenda,
raped
too.
by us. Put
My
them in the
goodness,
Boy
the
Scouts.
Pope has
Put them in
embraced
our different
homosexuality.
extracurricular activities and so
It
on,
is
where
over.
they can be taken advantage
You're all
of. Put them in the
bitches,
church
and
where
you're
they
being
can be
run by
taken advantage of.
gender-neutral
That's why these
bitches.
rapes continue to go on.
How can you
Why
be
don't
a
people
man?
stop
No
sending
serving
their
any greater
kids
than
to
your own
church
Bible.
and these
You're
church
being run by
activities when they know they're getting
gender-neutral
raped?
bitches. By
Because
people who
it's
think the
fear
kid is
and
the new
sexual
man.
immorality.
We have baby face
They're
and
trying to be
baby kids
socially
and Little
normative,
Wayne. I mean,
which
what don't you
includes
get?
playing the game
Little Wayne?
and being
No.
made suggestible, vulnerable,
it's not.
and unfocused,
It's not
where
the
these
way.
predators can
Little
take
Wayne,
advantage of you.
It's not the way. Sucking
You know,
baby
even if they
off
were
for
going
fame
to be
is not the way.
leopards otherwise,
Saying, well,
in
women
the
do
divine
it,
order
we
with
need to
someone like me,
compete.
bringing
It's
it
not
out
the
of
way.
them. You know, making them men.
Acting like little elf
They're
bitches
basically made unfocused
that
and
can't
victims
stand the fact
of the
that they
hippo.
were
Right? The
literally
leopard tries to
and
fight like a
otherwise
hippo, he doesn't have a
living in the
chance.
shallow
You know, if
shadow
he strikes surgically and
of
rips
Pharaoh.
open the hippo's throat and flees, for
cast
example,
a
or then
great
climbs up
shadow.
the tree again, he can just
They were
sit there
giants.
and watch the hippo
Men of
run around
renown.
in an unfocused hippo
Heroes
manner with a
of
silly
old.
look on his face and bleed out.
So they were
And so it
flooded.
is
The
with
world was
martial arts
flooded with
combat.
the bullshit
In the
and
jungle,
wizard nonsense.
I can come out the
with
bushes and
genes
strike you
of
effectively
elf
and disappear
scum.
in the bushes. We see it in
And
the
now
movie
we've
The Scorpion King.
forgotten
The Rock, there's
what
a
it
sandstorm. He
means
comes
to
out and
be
he
a
kills
hero.
these people one at a time.
Women
Right? That's the
have
kind of
forgotten
leopard idea that
what it
they're
means to
twisting
be
in the
a
Scorpion
woman.
King and
they are
injecting these
acting
ideas
like
in another temple's
gender-neutral
reproductive kind of religious
LGBT,
cult, sex cult,
sissy,
fertility cult.
fairy,
You
punk
know, this
bitches.
is the martial
And
arts
you
of the
all
jungle.
know that.
This is the martial arts of the
So
battlefield.
don't give any female
You are basically
any
crippled on the
respect.
battlefield, made worthless, and you also mess up the enemy's line, his ability to sink. So remember, day bait, master bait, right? Get you to think in terms of reproduction. Anybody who reproduces and has sexual immorality, you know, in their spirit, you know, in their Luciferian energy, in their manner, is automatically evil. Outside the divine order, people are automatically evil. If you are not good, you know, ever heard the saying, are we good? If you're not good with God, because you're in the divine order, whether or not I said we're good or not, it's through God. Through me, in the divine order, are you good with God? But nobody's good with God but me. And they're not standing with me. The closest thing to it is my family, and what happens to them, I don't truly know. Certainly, the more they suffer, the more likely they are to go to heaven. They seem to be striving, bending over backwards to help them gangstalk me to find their life in this world. But to be fair, they're probably the next most moral people I can think of I've ever met, I've ever even heard of, that are alive, is my family. You know, my dad gave millions of dollars in free service to society. He's been cheated every chance they got. and he's probably going to end up poor and miserable and in their service as a result. I don't know. Okay, what I do know is that at this point, people must stop at nothing to stand with me and to carry their cross, or they will be assimilated and help these evil pedophile, rapist, murderer, drug-pushing sickos build their empires and drug your kids. You're basically forking your kids over to contribute to this mass rape, murder, evil, eugenicist society. There's no excuse for it. People are better off dying and training their kids to fight to the death.